So let's say you're over 40 and you're thinking, man, I really want to make YouTube videos, but I don't have the right gear or I don't have expensive gear. I hear that all the time. Then I think you're really going to like this video. Hey there, I'm Kevin Colby. And in this video, I'm going to share 10 video ideas that you can do. You can do one of them, some of them, all of them. That doesn't take much gear at all. Definitely doesn't take any expensive gear and some creativity too. So let's dive in. We're going to start with number one, talking head videos. This is a talking head video, and I'm going to have a few graphics in here along the way, which you can do. But a talking head video is just that. You can do with your phone. You could do it with a webcam. You could even do it with the built-in camera on a laptop. Use natural light. Now, I have a light attached to my desk, but there's a window right over here. So I could be sitting at this table that you kind of see out of the corner. If you're listening to it, it's to my right. There's a table there. I could be sitting at the window and let God light the video for me. But you could just share your thoughts, your advice, your experience. I've seen a guy on YouTube, I can't think of his name, but he's a financial guy, and he sits in his car with his phone. I'm not even sure he uses an external mic, and he records financial news. Nothing fancy, but he has grown his channel to a lot of followers because he gives some practical advice in his way of doing it with a talking head video. Number two, how-tos or tutorial videos. Now, in a way, this is maybe kind of a how-to-ish video, but think about something you can teach, your experience, whatever it is. I just mentioned the guy that does the financial stuff, whether you paint or cook or just want to share wisdom. You could do it using screen recordings or slides or just talking through step by step. Again, I'm going to have some very basic graphics in here to accentuate, is that the word I'm looking for, each of the points. So think about what you can teach. Think about what you can share on a very simplistic way. And again, a lot of this you could be just using your camera or your webcam or whatever it is that's attached to your computer. Like a lot of mine is done at my desk because I've got a camera on my desk that I can just turn on, and then I just turn the software on and I'm recording straight into it. For this video, I'm using Riverside, but there are other ones you can use as well, like Ecamm or StreamYard or Loom or some of these, and I'll put links to those down below in case that will help you. Number three, a smartphone only challenge. So imagine a series of videos where you're using your smartphone, like your iPhone. Now, I have an iPhone 15, recently upgraded from a 13 Pro. The only reason is because the cameras got a little better in there and they had a couple of features that I wanted. Did I need to upgrade? No, but just imagine using your smartphone and then you're only using that to maybe shoot and edit and do graphics, which by the way, you can. You can just use your iPhone to do everything. I'm a desktop kind of guy. So like right now I've got a Mac Mini and I'm recording onto that. I've got a 27-inch monitor, but that's kind of me with this setup. But you could do like a smartphone only challenge where you do that and you can challenge yourself, but then you could also be recording it. And you can even do screen recordings on your iPhone as well. I've done some videos on iPhone, how to use your iPhone more to create. I'll link to that playlist down below, including the Apple Notes feature that is really cool, where you can actually just kind of talk into it and it'll transcribe it. So that could even be your script. There's one of your ideas right there. And if you're looking for a really cool iPhone graphics, you can use it for graphics and photo retouching, everything, Snapseed. Google makes it totally free. It's mind blowing what it will do. Number four, coffee chat style video. Think of it kind of like a video podcast, but basically you can sit down with a drink and talk about life. There was a point where I did a blog for a very short time called Jesus and Joe. And I would sit down with a cup of coffee and I would, share maybe some scripture or something like that. And I've thought about bringing it back again more as a video podcast. But just think about this. It could be a coffee chat. I was on a video podcast as a guest not too long ago, and the guy brews beers. And he talks a lot about beer. But one of the things he said to me is, whether you drink beer or not, Kevin, when I have you on, I like to have my guest share a beverage and a cup. Now, a lot of times I keep my Yeti tumbler on my desk, but for that one, I had a cup of coffee and we talked about coffee. So think about it like that. But again, you could talk about your life lessons, especially if you're over 40. I'm in my 60s. And so think about the things I could share about, my job being downsized and being my own solo creator, but whatever your story is, or you could talk about current thoughts. You could talk about, like, let's say you're into politics. Let's say you want to do movie reviews or you want to review a book or something like that. But it's more that coffee chat kind of style where you can just sit there and pull up a cup of Joe or a cup of whatever and just have a chat. Number 5, I've done this a lot and I love it. Answering audience questions. Basically, you're turning comments or emails into Q&A content. So in fact, I've done these and there's a link to a playlist. I think I called it Ask Kevin Almost Anything. And what I would do is I would go through and I would look at a bunch of questions that you asked and other people asked during the month, and I would answer those. And again, that you're going to see a lot of these styles kind of blend, but each one could be individually. But basically, questions that viewers asked became the content. And then I would pick the ones that I felt like I could at least answer with some sense. But you could do that with emails, which I actually hadn't thought about. You get emails that you could turn into a Q&A. And again, read them out loud. Credit the people. I have found that, and maybe you feel this way. Let me know in the comments below. But if I ask somebody a question on a YouTube video, and yeah, I watch other channels and I ask questions and comment on videos, and they respond, I like that. I mean, I think that is really cool, especially if they have asked a question or they're demonstrating something and like, well, how do you do that? That can turn into content as well. Number 6, a slideshow with voiceover. So you could consider this a faceless video. If you've ever heard the term faceless video, it just means like, who sings the song Eyes Without a Face? Is that Billy Idol? I don't even know what it means. Sounds kind of creepy. But there's a way to do faceless videos. Now, I'm a big believer, a huge believer in connecting via the lens on the camera with the person. When I can look at you, even though I'm looking at a lens, just go with me here. When I can look at you in the eyes and I can share and talk and teach, I think there's a deeper connection. But there ain't nothing wrong with just doing a faceless video. And in this case, it's like a slideshow. Now, you can create slideshows in Canva. I've done that quite a bit. You can do it in Keynote if you're on Mac. You can do it in Google Slides. There's so many different ways out there you can create slides. And then you can just voice over it. Now, I didn't know this until long ago, and Canva's not sponsoring this at all. I have a paid Canva account. But you can actually create a slideshow in Canva and record it in Canva. So there's a video that I've done about YouTube speak, and the big chunk of that where I'm going through, basically you hear my voice and I'm showing a lot of examples that are screen grabs. That part was recorded all in Canva. So it's an easy way to do it. And in fact, I didn't even turn my camera on for that part. I just had my mic connected to it. You don't need a fancy mic, but it's an easy way, a simple way to create it. And then you can talk over it. What could the slideshow be? It could be anything. Let's say that you're doing a van life channel and you want to share about your recent trip or how you did your van or something like that. Let's say it's a gardening channel and you like to share gardening tips. Well, it could be pictures of things you're growing or different seeds or something. I don't do gardening, so I don't know anything about that, but you get the idea. 7, walk and talk vlogs. Okay, look, I love vlogs. If you were to ask me, hey, Kevin, let's just assume you do. Hey, Kevin, what's one of your favorite types of content? It's vlogs. Really like Casey Neistat, who's probably the original vlogger. And I really like that style. But think about this, a walk and talk vlog. Again, use your phone. Now, if I'm a huge fan of the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I still to this day feel like it was one of the best gear purchases I've ever made. They're very expensive now, but you could also use a GoPro. Like I've got a GoPro Hero 9. I don't even know what they're up to now. Still works perfectly. DJI has their own action cam thing, but use your phone. Get an inexpensive mic. It doesn't have to be expensive. I'll put some links to some things I would recommend down below, but you can get some inexpensive mics to plug in there and then just kind of go outside if you want. Take a walk. Share your thoughts. Again, if you're in the financial space, let's say every day before you head into the office or whatever you do for your financial journey, and you want to share something about, some financial news or something like that. But it can also be personal stuff. I love the walk and talk type of things. Rob the Maritimer, I'll give him a shout out. He does these a lot, and you know what? Dadgummit, he's good at it. But he is. And I think he uses his iPhone. And they're kind of walk and talk vlogs where you can just share and you don't even have to edit it. It could just be hit record and go. Number 8, react to old photos and videos. So again, you could do a screen recording of you reacting to that. And maybe if you don't even want to do that, hold them up. So let's say that you whatever you've done in your background, your experience, let's say you traveled a lot for business or personal or whatever, and you want to share like photos and give a little history or something like that, or you want to do your old stuff. Let's say that you're a musician and maybe you're an accomplished musician, but you have like old photos and videos of how you started or clubs you played or maybe even studios you recorded in, and you could be reacting to those. Or it could be that you've gotten better at a craft and you want to react to the ways that you did it or how something has changed over time. So then it's more about the time you put into that. But again, you could use almost any kind of gear for this. Number 9, unboxing or product demos. If you get anything from Amazon and you happen to be an Amazon either influencer or you are in the affiliate program, you can do unboxings. You don't need their permission, but you can do unboxings of anything at all. I mentioned this Yeti tumbler I got. I actually got this on Amazon. I could actually shoot a video right here or with my phone or my webcam unboxing this and talking about it. But just something that you want to share. And again, it doesn't have to be fancy gear. If you've got a webcam, use the webcam. Phone is going to be great for this. And again, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is great, even though it's a little pricier. But if the prices kind of settle out on that, I think it's a good option. And number 10, I love this one. There's a little irony here. No budget, no problem. Series. If you want to call it that, you can just mention me when they do the YouTube awards or whatever. But think about it as an ongoing series where you showcase tips and tools and stories of creating with what you have. See, and there's kind of irony there, right? It's kind of like you don't have a big budget, no problem. So you're using that as a way to create. So again, think of it as the ways you create your video or the ways you create your craft. Let's say you're a crafter and you can take things that are very unusual, not spend a lot of money, and create a lot of really cool stuff. And again, you don't need expensive gear for that. So those are 10 ideas. You can do any or all of them, but I think these will help you get going. Now, if you need more ideas, you're in luck because I put together a bunch more, and I'm going to give it to you in a free downloadable guide or checklist or cheat sheet, whatever you want to call it. There's a link to that down below if you want to grab that. There's these and a bunch more just to kind of get you going, especially if you're over 40 and you want to start making YouTube videos. This is a way to get going so you can just create and share your gifts with the World Wide Web. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.